How can I get more flexible in hot yoga class, or any class for that matter? You also want to ask yourself the question, how can I get stronger? Because they go hand in hand and they are equally important. That is what we're talking about today. Hi everyone, if this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Jimmy Barkan. Please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell, then you get notified when I post a new video. How can I get more flexible? Probably the most popular question I've got since 1980. First things first, here, and I'm going to help you with this. First things first is consistency. You got to be doing yoga on a regular basis. Once a week, even every other day. You're not going to be able to improve because you're not going to be able to build momentum. I always say 4 times a week minimum. 5 is great, 6 is ideal. I even like taking 1 day off. So we never did a 30-day challenge at my school. We would do 40 classes in 60 days, or 5 times a week for 2 months. I would see people do this. They would do 3 times a week and then do our challenge and do 5 times a week. In the first 2 weeks, they would improve more than the last 6 months coming 3 times a week. Next up, take inventory. Inventory of your body. You got to know what leg, what hamstring is more flexible, what shoulder has more range of motion, what hip is more flexible, and so on. Don't think that, okay, my right side standing head to knee is my better side, or my left side standing head to knee is my better side. Now we're talking hot yoga. Think that when your left leg is out or up in the air, because the hamstring is more flexible. Now, usually, this is another hot yoga tidbit. If you're right-handed, a lot of times you're right side dominant. So when your left leg is out and standing head to knee, that for the average person, a lot of exceptions, you can write in the comment if you're an exception. If your left leg is out, it's going to be the more flexible side. That being said, standing bow, that means when you're kicking your right leg up, because you're standing on your left leg, that's the better side. I'm left-handed, left side dominant. So when my right leg was out and standing head to knee, that was my more flexible side. And my left side standing bow was my more flexible side. But it's not that side is better. You want to think anatomically. It's the hamstring that's more flexible. That's opening and responding. That's the difference. This is going to help you big time. If your left side, let's say on the standing bow, is the challenge side, that's the side you want to hold a little bit more, pay a little more attention to. We have a tendency to exploit our better side. So if you're continuing to hold your better side or your more flexible side or your stronger side 5-10% longer and pay more attention, your imbalance is going to increase. So you got to get your ego out of the way and hold the challenge side a little bit longer and allow it to catch up, because it's all about balance. We want to create that balance. So as much as it looks better when you do your better side and it feels better, it looks better to your peers, challenge side is what you want to hold a little longer, maybe 5-10% more. Now, I talked earlier in the video about having strength as much as your priority is flexibility, because people always think, oh, I got to get more flexible to be better at yoga. My mother, for example, had extraordinary flexible hips. She could sit in lotus position all day long. But for her to stand up on one leg and hold her balance for 5 seconds to save her life, she couldn't do it. You have to have the strength to support that flexibility. That's why they're equally important. So when I'm looking at my students and I'm seeing their progress, I'm looking at both flexibility and strength combination. And then it's really understanding your body. Like I said before, taking inventory. But I had a student come to me just recently and said, Jim, I can't do standing head to knee. I don't have that hamstring stretch. I don't have that hamstring flexibility to do standing head to knee or standing bow. And I said, Dennis, I had very flexible, and I still do. I have very flexible hamstrings. I could do standing head to knee. At one point, I could straighten my leg in standing bow. But he has extraordinary open hips. I said, you want to switch? You want to give me your hip flexibility? I'll give you my hamstring flexibility so you can see how bizarre that is and how it's nonsensical. It is what it is. You don't want to make a judgment. You definitely don't want to beat yourself up for not having or not being able to do what you think you're supposed to do. You have to understand what is. And that brings us to the gem. This brings us to what I think to be maybe the most profound thing I'll say to you on any of my YouTube videos. Here it is. Drum roll. Find your starting point in every pose without judgment. Where's my starting position? Let me go into it slow enough and do not judge. And all I want to think about from this starting point is, where is the next centimeter? Where is the next inch? Where is the next tangible goal? Find your starting point without judgment, and finding that next tangible goal will, if you could go, let's say 1 inch or 2 centimeters every day, in 30 days, you're straightening your leg in the standing bow, if you think about it. Where's your starting point without judgment? Where's the next tangible goal? And that brings us to the next point. Is it always about achieving more flexibility, achieving more strength? In the West, when I say the West, everybody outside of Asia, we have a tendency to be very performance-oriented society. Performance-oriented society, we think we have to achieve or overachieve to be successful or to be good at it. In yoga, I'm not saying set goals for yourself, that's fine, but you have to then get into the experience the posture's bringing you to. Make that more of your goal than achieving the full position. Because you know what? There's always going to be somewhere to go. Ask the advanced people. They'll tell you even more so. You'll never arrive at the perfect pose or to achieve the final expression in every pose. It's not going to happen. So what's the main goal here? Find the experience the posture brings you to. And if you're increasing your flexibility and strength through your consistency, taking inventory, finding the next tangible goal, that's great. But what's important is it opens up the blockages in the body we call the Nadis, these cerebral spinal centers, channels, physical and ethereal conduits. As we open up these channels, these nadis, we begin to evolve. That's the concept. Not so we can straighten our leg in the standing bow. Because let me tell you something, and this is going to be another video, I call it the curve. You may do that, you may achieve it, and you may achieve the full expression of your favorite pose, but it's not going to last. Why? You're not going to do yoga when you're 90 years old and the same way you are when you're 40. It's just not going to happen. So are we always thinking about achieving? And like I said, it's going to be another video. I call it the curve. We want to think about the experience the posture brings us to. So let's sum it up. We're going to take inventory, maybe hold the challenge side a little bit longer, let it catch up, find consistency in our practice. 4 times a week, 6 times a week, somewhere in there is great. Where's our starting point in each pose? We're going to find it without judgment and find the next inch. But more importantly than all of this, find the experience that this process, these asana, your practice brings you to. As we open up the nadis, as we open up our heart, as we open up our bodies and our minds and nourish the soul, that's what it's all about. So that's our episode for today. If you're interested in the Barkan Hot Yoga Teacher Training Programs, there are links in the description below. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the bell. Any questions you have, I get to all those comments, put them in the comments below. Smash the like button, and I'll see you at the next video.